I'd like to formally welcome everyone. My name is Matthew Cola, and I am the Tech Prep Coordinator here at Kent State University, and which is one of the 7 schools in the Northeast Ohio Career Tech Prep region. And with us today, we have Janessa Siegel, who is going to talk about financial wellness. So I'm going to just hand it off to her.
Hi, everyone. It is so wonderful to meet you. I am honored to be here with you today. And as previously mentioned, I'm here to talk to you about your financial wellness, but also creative ways to understand how to utilize college credits while you're in high school to benefit you while you are in college. So, a little bit about myself. I'm the founder and CEO of My Wealthy Wellness. We're a financial education company. And I have worked in financial wellness, higher education for 8 to 10 years. So, I was in financial wellness for 8 years. I've been in higher ed for a total of 10 years. I'm an accredited financial counselor, which means I just love helping people with money. And some of my hobbies include traveling, eating, skating, dancing, singing, talking about money. And I love to break out in song as if I live in a musical. So if I start singing, don't be worried. It's just the musical number in my head. So before we get into the major nitty gritty of everything, there are a few house rules. First thing is be open-minded. What we are going to discuss may be some subjects you might not have thought of before, or you might have heard before, but differently. So I ask that you be open-minded. Also be engaging. The more you engage with the material, the more we are able to converse, the less boring this can be, but also the more you're able to receive from it as well. And then finally, ask questions. Test my knowledge. I want to make sure that you get as much information as possible. So if a question pops up in your head, even if the information isn't on the screen, please still ask because I want to make sure that I am a resource for you. And then our intention today is to show you options. I want to give you all options on what you can do with your career, how to utilize post-secondary education to your benefits. So I want to show you these options and give information and guidance to you all so that you know what to do to navigate through these different decisions and moments in life. And then finally, our intention is not to judge. My intention is to show you different pathways. So I don't want you to think that one way is better than another. We're going to see different pathways. And at the end of the day, you decide what's best for you. Okay. So with our overview, we are going to talk about free money through college credits and how you can utilize getting college credits in high school to save money in college. Also, making credits work for you and what that looks like. We'll discuss why that is important. And then we're going to do an activity with creating spending plans and really learning how to develop your own budget, but keeping yourself in consideration all the whole steps of the way. So TikTok taught me. That's a tongue twister. Try to say that 5 times fast. So what I want to see is kind of gauging the room. Sorry about that. My phone should be on silent. I apologize about that. I want to gauge the room and see where you all are and what you've learned from TikTok. So there should be certain reactions in the platform. So if you have seen any of this on TikTok or learned any of this on TikTok, just make a reaction like a smiley face or raise your hand. Okay, so TikTok taught me how to dance. Taught me a few dance moves myself. Okay, TikTok, right? TikTok taught me how to budget. So you've seen some people talk about creative budgeting and financial management. If you've seen that on TikTok, go ahead, give a reaction. Okay. TikTok taught me college prep. So you've seen people talk about going to college or even some silly videos dealing with college. You're just like, oh, that looks kind of fun. I want to try that. All right. Finally, TikTok has taught me how to decide what to do in life. I will admit TikTok has taught me a lot of stuff with like meditating and stuff. So, a lot of gurus are there. Okay, so just wanted to see a little bit of what you all might have seen there. So I'm going to ask you all a few questions, right? And I want you to raise your hand. I don't know, is there a raise hand feature here? Okay, so I want you to raise your hand if you identify with or agree with the statement that is being read. So I'm going to read these statements and you raise your hand if you agree with it. Okay? Raise your hand if you know exactly what you want to do with your career. Okay. Raise your hand if you think you know, but you're not all the way sure. Yes, that's very, very common. Okay. Raise your hand if you have no idea what you want to do with your future. Keep in mind, there's no right answer and there is no judgment here. Okay. Finally, raise your hand if thinking about the future is intimidating. Raise my hand about that too. Okay. So this is helpful. It's helpful to gauge the room. So I wanted to ask those questions because in reality, many of us think we know what we want to do in the future, but realistically, we really don't know. We have an idea, but life changes, things happen. And so if you have no clue what you want to do, that's perfectly fine. If you know what you want to do, that is perfectly fine too. Either way, as long as you keep going through this journey we call life, you're on the right path, okay? So, college cost. There are four main factors when it comes to college cost. Your courses and housing, so paying for the actual classes, and if you live on campus, you're paying for that as well. Then food, you have to nourish your body, of course. Daily expenses like your utilities, books and fees, transportation, all of that fun stuff with adulting. And then life cost. Oftentimes, when we talk about budgeting, I don't think people really say you have life costs, but we do. We all have those different costs. So these are the four main factors of college costs. But can any of you tell me what is the one most expensive and main factor of college cost? If you're looking at what's in front of you, what's the main thing? Go ahead, type it in the chat. I can't see the chat, so if Matthew, if you could read it for me, if anybody
Of
writes anything.
course. So we have courses and housing, and tuition have both been typed in the chat.
Yes, yes. Whoever wrote that, you are on track.
Mhm.
So the most expensive part of college is tuition. And I would argue, I wouldn't say it's the most important, but you can't cover your classes without tuition. So tuition is the actual fee or the cost of all of your courses. So let's break down what goes into that. So tuition is the cost of your actual college courses. And the way that those costs are broken down are credits. So credits are the amount of hours that you are taking for each class. And then when you complete it, you earn these credits to go towards your degree. So a way that I like to look at it is if you play a video game and you win a level, you normally win some coins or some credits that would take you to the next level. It's kind of like that in college. When you pass your classes, you earn those credits and you go to the next class or the next level up so that you can graduate. Every single degree program or certification program requires a specific number of credits that you have to pass in order to get that degree or certification. So, what does that mean? The more classes you take, that makes the more credits you take, which means the more money you will spend in tuition to go towards that. So, all in all, tuition is the one of the most expensive parts of college. And in order to pay tuition or what goes towards your tuition are your college credits. So why is this important? When you earn college credits in high school, you actually save money in college or any other post-secondary education. If you have an opportunity right now to take classes that are giving you credits that you can use further on, you are going to save money because that's going to put you ahead of the game. So let's calculate what that looks like cost-wise. So on average, if you go to a four-year institution or you're trying to get a bachelor's degree, on average, it'll take about 4.5 years or 4.5 years to graduate with that degree. Now, let's say tuition for 1 year for the fall and the spring is about $12,472. So let's calculate what that looks like over the course of 4.5 years. So you'll multiply 4.5 by 12,472. Can anybody tell me what the answer is? If you have like a calculator on your phone, go ahead and calculate it. Tell me what the answer is. All right, do we have any answers in the chat?
Looks like we have one coming. $56,124.
You are right.
Thank you, Allie and Ethan.
Awesome. Awesome job. Yes. So what this is saying is for 4.5 years, that's how much on average you would spend in just tuition. Okay. Now, let's say a student starts college with 12 college credits. 12 college credits is the equivalent of about a half a year or a semester's worth of classes. By doing that, they're able to graduate in 4 years. So now multiply 12,472 by 4 and tell me, what is the answer?
$49,888. Once again.
Awesome. Yes, y'all are on it. You're on it. Okay. So now subtract this from the previous answer that you got and tell me how much did this how much did this student save for starting with 12 credit hours? How much did they save? I hope you all didn't see the answer. That was a technical glitch.
$6,236. Allie got that one in first.
And you know what? I was off by $1. Yes. So what does that say? What that is showing you is by just taking 12 credits, one semester's worth of classes, you're saving more than $5,000, way more than $5,000. And the more classes you're able to take early, the more you're able to save when you go to college. And the quicker you graduate. And what does that mean? The quicker you're able to go into your job, make that full-time salary, and live that wonderful adulting life that you all are so excited about, right? So yes, what I'm trying to say is if you have opportunities right now to take college courses, go ahead and take them. Now, let's talk about how we make the credits work for us, because it's good to take these courses, but you also want to be strategic in taking specific courses. So with your college credits, every single degree program, you have to take a certain number of credits, but there's also, with that certain number, there's specific classes. So you might have heard people say things like there's gen ed courses, cultural diversity courses, or things of that nature, kind of. What they're saying is gen ed courses, those are general education courses. Those are usually courses that every single program require. So you're talking English, math, the basic courses that you might have heard of throughout school. Unfortunately, some people tend to take college courses that do not count towards their degree. So what happens is it causes them to stay in school longer, which then causes more money to accumulate over time. So knowing what you want to study or having an idea of what you want to study can help you avoid some of those unneeded credits or those credits that won't really count towards your degree program. So knowing what you want to study, while it can be kind of intimidating, because earlier I asked, do you know what you want to do? And some of you said, I'm not kind of sure. Let's do this activity to get an idea of what you might want to study going forward. So the handout that was sent to you, this is in the handout, and these questions are in the handout. Because of time, we won't be able to go through every single question, but we're going to go through some of these and discuss it so that we can help you all think through what you may want to study when you go to after you graduate high school. So first question is, do you have any hobbies? If so, list two. When I introduced myself, I told you all I love to sing, dance, skate, travel, all of those types of things. So out of those hobbies, I would probably list singing and skating as the top two things that I would do. Then what do you like to do for fun? Some people would say that's the same thing as hobbies. If you feel that way, if you have a whole list of hobbies and you only listed two on the front two, the rest of them, put them in the section of what you like to do for fun. But what we're trying to see is what is something that brings you joy? What do you enjoy doing? What do you want to help you relieve stress? What are some of those things? Next question is, what is something you would like to learn? What piques your interest and you really want to learn how to do this? Me, I want to learn how to garden. I would love to grow my own food. I want to pick my own vegetables, my own herbs, all of that. I want to learn how to do that. So I would write that down for myself. And then finally, if you had to teach someone something you know inside and out without any preparation, what would it be? So, what would that one thing be that you could just talk about all day and you could literally teach somebody about it? I can tell people everything you could imagine about a Roth IRA, which is a form of a retirement account. I love talking about that stuff and I don't need any preparation for it. My younger brother, he is a drumming whiz, so he could probably teach a whole class on how to drum. He wouldn't need any preparation for that. So, what is something that you could teach someone without any preparation? Once you answer these questions, use your answers to start looking for careers. So, you have your hobbies written down. Find one career that incorporates your hobbies. So, for me, if my hobbies were singing and skating, I could write down a career like a jingle writer. I could write down a career background singer. I could work on a cruise ship. I could go to music school to write music. Um, if I wanted to incorporate skating, I could do something dealing with dance. I could look at careers dealing with acrobatics. All of those things are different careers that would incorporate my hobbies. Uh, find something that, or find a career that incorporates something you like to do for fun. So look at what you enjoy for that list of fun things, and then find a career that incorporates that. Then find a career that incorporates something you want to learn. I told you all before, I want to learn how to garden. So what are some careers that incorporate gardening? There's lawn care, there's actual farming. I could look up even food science because science and food can go hand in hand. There's careers there. Finally, find one career you feel you can enter easily. I help teach people about money. I could enter that easily. I enjoy doing that and I know a lot about it. So, the reason why I want you all to answer these questions is because once you find a career, you then can pick a major. Because these careers, many of them have some form of a certification or program that will help you in that. Now, in picking a major, let's say something you're interested in, you don't need a 4-year degree. That's perfectly fine. What type of education do you need for it though? Because let's say you want to open up your own salon. You don't necessarily need a 4-year degree for that, but you want to understand how to run a business. You want to understand what it looks like to have booth rent. You also want to understand the marketing of getting more clients. So again, what kind of education would you need to fulfill some of these careers that you are interested in? So, real quick, I would love to hear some of the thoughts that you all had. So, for one of the careers, what are some careers that you all thought of in writing some of these down? me see if there's a way to see. Is there anything in the chat?
Yes, we have interior design. We have motion graphics for film.
These are some amazing careers. I love it. Awesome. So with these careers and with these ideas of what you want to do, start looking at programs that you might be interested in, and then look at the classes that are required. When you see those classes, that can help you decide what can I take now that can be transferable so that when I do get to after I graduate high school, I'll already have something in my back pocket to help catapult me when I do graduate high school. Something I want you all to keep in mind, your mind may change. That is perfectly normal. The reason why I wanted you to write down a list is because your mind may change, but it's possibly going to change to something you're already interested in. So having that list, what that can also help you do is see what classes could be transferable in between those careers too. So an example of that would be my original major for undergrad was engineering. I wanted to do mechanical engineering because I wanted to build robots and roller coasters. Clearly, I'm not doing that right now. But math, science, numbers has always been something that was a part of me and that was an interest of mine. So when I was taking courses and when I was picking schools, I was looking at schools that had good programs in my interest. So business was an interest of mine, engineering was my main interest, and things with numbers. So the school I went to, they had good programs for both. So that is another creative way to take care of yourself is as you're looking at programs, see what can also possibly translate to something else you're interested in, just in case you do change your mind. Do we have any questions so far before I move forward?
I'm not seeing any yet.
All righty. So now we're going to talk about the cost of your career. Before I show you the different comparison of careers depending on your degree level, what I want to acknowledge is different, your income can and will be different depending on the education that you have, and that's just the reality of life. What I don't want you all to do is think that one career is better than another, one education level is better than another. Please try your hardest not to do that. I want you to pick something that you genuinely want to do and something that will contribute to your life. Something that I want you to continuously think about is what can I do to contribute to the life that I've always wanted to live? Even with you being in high school, what are things that you can do to contribute to enjoying your day to day? What are things that you can control to allow you to enjoy the small things? As you get older, as you progress through life, continue looking at life that way. How can I embrace certain things and how can I learn things to enhance what I'm doing so that I can thrive throughout life no matter what happens? So I wanted to say that before showing the careers because I know that money covers a lot of stuff and we need it to cover our necessities. But I don't want you to base your decisions just off money. I want you to base your decisions off of what you want to do and can enjoy and thrive doing while still making a livable wage. Okay? So the US labor statistics, they have basically a income range of different degree levels depending on your educational background. So these numbers in front of you, these are averages across the entire country. And some of these numbers can be lower and some of them can be higher depending on where you live. So I don't want you all to think this is like a definitive amount. These are averages across the entire country and according to your education level. So when it says no formal education or credential, this means you didn't graduate high school, you don't have a GED, you don't have any type of formal education or any type of training to do something. Usually individuals, according to the US labor statistics, They are usually eligible for jobs like fast food salesperson, retail salesperson, a janitor or housekeeper. And this is the salary range of individuals within those job markets. If you have a high school diploma or a GED, you, it's a little bit higher, so you can be at homes, caregiving help, customer service, maintenance, and repair. Once you start getting to your associate's degree or a 2-year certificate, that's where you do start seeing a little uptick in income. So you can be like a truck driver, medical assistant, computer user, support specialist, uh, a dental assistant. Those are individuals that usually have at least 2 years or an associate's degree, some type of certification. And then your bachelor's degree, that is your 4-year degree. That's when you're starting to look at things like your operations manager, school teachers, market analyst. You're also looking at people who have to do extended education for the materials that they work with. So computer information technology, depending on what you're working with, you can either have an associate's degree or you would need a 4-year degree, because the more intense the information, usually the longer the schooling you would need. Now, once you start looking at careers like a doctor, medical doctor, veterinarian, dentist, lawyer, all of those require graduate school. So those degree programs are longer than just 4 years. So you get a 4-year degree and then you go back to school to get an advanced degree. So depending on your career path, it can dictate how much money you receive, and depending on the education you receive, that will dictate how much money you receive as well. So as you all can see, the higher the education level, the more income an individual was able to make. So as you all are thinking about your career choices, again, please try your hardest not to focus on just the income. Look at all of your options. Excuse me. My sinuses don't want me to be great. Yes, but look at all of your options to make sure you're making an informed decision for yourself. Also recognize that as you are going throughout your careers, there are some jobs that may not need you to work 40 hours a week. So people who work in IT, there are lots of people that have contracting jobs. So they may be an independent contractor, so they work for themselves, and then they contract with companies. By doing that, you may not necessarily have a salary, but you have an agreed amount that is paid. So getting into those nitty-gritty positions, those are usually individuals that do have some form of associate's degree, 2-year certification, or bachelor's, because they have more experience and more education that allows them to do that. Do we have any questions about this before I move forward? Okay. So now let's talk about lovely spending plans. So, as you are thinking about your holistic financial wellness, as well as figuring out what you want to do with your future, what your life may look like once you graduate from high school, something that is important to know for yourself is, what does my spending plan look like? I like to call it a spending plan and not necessarily a budget, because budget just sounds so blah. But a spending plan, you're deciding on how you want to spend your money, but the most important thing is you are creating a plan that makes sense for who you are. So here is a quick technique to use at any level in life to create your own spending plan. So first step is know your income. How much are you bringing in? So, understanding your gross income and your net income is crucial to fully understanding how much you're bringing in. So, can you all tell me, what is a gross income? What's gross income? And if you don't know, you can type in, I don't know. Any guess?
Total income prior to taxes.
There you go. Y'all are some smart kids. Yes, smart students. Yes, so your income before deductions, before taxes. So the main deduction that all of us will encounter are taxes and Social Security. Right now, I wouldn't say you shouldn't be concerned with it, but you probably haven't interacted with it as much. So something I want you all to understand is when you get paid, whenever you start a job, when they say, yeah, you're going to make such and such a year, the amount that they are quoting you is not going to be the amount you actually bring home. And it's because of those deductions or how much is going to be taken out. So your gross income is before anything is withdrawn. Then you have these deductions. So retirement, this is optional. It is highly recommended, but it is optional. As soon as you turn 18, you can legally start opening up a retirement account. I highly, 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 highly suggest it, especially if you are working at that time. And you can start just putting $25 a month, $50 a month into it, but start early because you'll have a lot by the time you graduate. So retirement, that comes out of your gross. Taxes, as you all know, insurance. So when you get a full-time job, there are certain jobs, especially if you work full-time, there are certain jobs that will offer certain insurances to you. That is a benefit you want to take. Your health insurance, your dental, your vision, they are providing that to you. And you do have to pay a little bit, but they're providing that to you. So it would be smart to take advantage of that. And by taking advantage of that, that money is also withdrawn out of your gross income. And the amount that's withdrawn is your premium, which you pay towards your insurance. Life insurance is another benefit that could potentially be provided to you. So that would come out as well. And then Social Security, that automatically comes out. Taxes and Social Security will always come out of your check. Those are mandatory. Insurance, health, dental, vision, life insurance, and retirement, those are dependent upon where you work and how you get your income set up. So all in all, your gross income is before all of this is taken out. Then you have your net income. So that is after deductions, and that is your take-home pay. When you are creating your spending plan, always create it based off your take-home pay and not your gross income. You will over budget significantly if you do that, okay? So if you do currently have a job and you're bringing in income, use that money to start creating spending plans. Give yourself certain amounts that you're going to dedicate to saving for yourself, certain amounts for spending, whatever you're using that money for, start writing it down so that you can get used to monitoring that. That is a skill that so many adults are still trying to develop right now. So by you developing that now, you will be light years ahead of other people. So once you know how much you're bringing in, you then start writing down your essentials. So for me, I can get not easily overwhelmed, but if I see a lot of stuff all at once, it can be a lot. So breaking things down, sectioning them out makes it easier to plan and consume things for me. So when I try to help people with their money, I try to help them do that too. So when you're writing down your expenses, create sections for them. So your essential expenses, these are things that are necessities for you. Like you cannot survive without these expenses. When you write down your essential expenses, categorize them as constant or variable. What does that mean? Your constant expenses are things that stay the same every single month. So as you all can see, your rent, your mortgage, your renter's insurance, if you have renter's insurance, transportation, your car payment, your car insurance, all of those are the same every single month. Can you all give me an example of another constant expense? What is something that doesn't change and is the same amount every single month?
Phone bill.
Yes, that's a good one. Y'all think of another one? Give me one more example.
Cable bill.
Good job. Yes. These are things that stay the same every single month. So when you're writing out your things, start with your constant expenses. Those are the easiest to remember. Then your variable expenses. These fluctuate month to month. These are still necessities, but the amount you spend may change. Food is probably the biggest flexible expense you will have. You have to eat, right? Now you can set a plan for groceries, but there's a great chance you might eat out too. So having a range of a number you will not go over for your food or flexible expenses is very important. Your utilities, that would be your electric, your gas, your sewage, your water. All of those are necessities, but they do fluctuate. Also, gas for your car. If you have a car, that would fluctuate depending on how far you have to drive or how often you drive. And then finally, life. This expense right here is very, very flexible because things happen that are unexpected, but also there's certain months you may want to do more and certain months you may not. So knowing how to cater to yourself is very important when you are creating your budget and you're looking at your flexible expenses or variable expenses. Now, life. Reason why I have a separate section for this is because this is the section that caters to your holistic well-being. Your rent, your utilities, your transportation, your water, your clothing, your food, those are basics in terms of it's very obvious that's something you pay for. Your life expenses are very individualized. So an example of that would be if you are someone who has back problems and going to a chiropractor or someone who is a masseuse helps your back problems, then that would be a life expense that you would incorporate as a necessity because your back problems likely impact your work, they likely impact your social life and all those other things. So that is something that you want to incorporate. Also with your life expenses, what do you do to cater to your holistic well-being? Yes, you all are a little bit younger, but there are things that you already do right now that help you relieve stress. There are things that you utilize when you are happy. There are things that you do when you're sad. So, what are those things that cater to your holistic well being, and how can you incorporate that into your spending plan? I wrote on here, remember your hobbies. Your hobbies, whether you realize it or not, cater to your holistic well-being because they cater to your happiness. They provide you that relief and that stress. Not they don't provide you stress, the stress relief. So as you have these things that do cater to that for yourself, put that in your budget. Eating out is something that some people do as a stress reliever. So if that's what you do, budget for it. Traveling, movies, concerts, reading, hiking, going to the gym, for me, skating, singing, all of those things should be incorporated in your financial plan and in your spending plan. Okay? So please, please, please incorporate that in your variable expenses. Now, once you do your constant and variable expenses, you then do your future past expenses. So you've already taken care of the majority of what you pay for month to month. Then you start thinking about how can I prepare for my future and pay off things that I used in the past. So your savings and your debt. When you're preparing for your future and past, you want things like an emergency fund to help you with emergencies, saving towards your goals, savings towards retirement, and then paying off debt. Show of hands or reactions, how many of you are kind of like, I don't want to use the word scared, but very uncomfortable at the thought of having debt?
We have a little in the chat.
Okay, yep. Debt is something that can be intimidating, but this is something I want you to remember. The only way to acquire debt or the only way to actually have debt is if you apply for it. The reason why I say that is sometimes it seems like people just got this debt and they're like, oh my gosh, how did I get this? In order to get it, you have to first apply for it. So what does that mean? You have control over how much debt you actually incur because you decide what you want to borrow. Debt isn't something that has to be good or bad. It is just something that many of us encounter as life progresses. And the reason that happens is things can be expensive, like buying a house, buying a car, going to school. The average person is not going to have 10, 20, $30,000 in their hands to pay for things outright. So what happens is you borrow the money to cover the cost with the intention of paying it back. That's all it really is. So if you get to a point in life where you encounter a moment where you might have to acquire debt, ask yourself these few things. What am I using it for? What are the stipulations? How can I pay it back? Or do I have enough to be able to pay it back? Okay? Ask yourself those three questions. If the last answer is no, you don't have enough to pay it back, then you will want to wait on acquiring that debt because you don't want to borrow money that you won't be able to pay back because then that's where the stress comes in because all that interest grows and stuff like that. So I don't want you all to be afraid of debt. It's just something you may incur, okay? So as you are creating your spending plans and you're thinking about your future and past, you're setting aside money for emergencies, setting aside money for your goals, set aside money for retirement, and then pay off your debt. Very simple. Doesn't have to be hard at all. And then finally, step 4 is everything else. If you have any money left over, whatever you want to use it for, go ahead and use it. You can treat yourself, you can add it to a savings, pay off some more debt, or just, give it away. Whatever you want to do with it, it's your money. That's all you got to do. So these 4 steps is the easiest way you can create a spending plan, okay? Any questions before we go into a very, very quick simulation?
Not seeing any.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to give you $1,000 for the month. What I want you to do is budget based off the list of items I'm going to show you on the next one. Now, I want you all to remember your needs and wants. Remember what I kind of discussed, like what is important, what are things you need, but also what caters to you, your essentials, your future past, and everything else. And then we'll just discuss what you were able to do, what you bought, and why. Okay? So you have $1,000 and you can use your handout for this. So I'm gonna give you all about 3 minutes to budget this and go. And when you finish, just go ahead and type in the chat done. And I'll give y'all one more minute.
I have it done in the chat.
Right. Hey. All right, so let's chat real quick. I don't know if you all are able to, can they unmute and speak?
They can.
Unmute. All right, so tell me, what did you all pick and why? I can't see the participants' names, so Matthew, if you want to call the first student that said they were done.
All
if you're
right,
willing to.
absolutely. Ethan, do you want to share?
Sure. So I picked really the essentials. So rent, utilities, groceries, transportation, just like looking, and then shopping because it might be shopping for essentials. Because I was still under the $1,000, but by leaving entertainment and savings out, so wouldn't be saving any money, but covering all the essentials that are there.
Awesome, thank you.
Allie, did you want to share? It's okay if not.
Yes, it is okay. If chat is easier, were there any decisions that took you all longer to decide? And if so, what were the options that were difficult to pick between and why?
So I kind of played along with the simulation as well. And I know for me, it was I did savings and entertainment last, and I know me, and I get bored easily. So I was like, okay, how much do I want to put towards savings versus how much do I want to put towards entertainment? So that was a tricky choice for me. Everything else kind of came first because just like Ethan said, shopping maybe for, essentials, maybe for, toilet paper, shampoo, stuff I need.
Thank you. Thank you all for participating and for letting us know your answers. Yeah, the biggest thing, and I hope that this very
Oh,
quick
we got another
simulation.
answer in the
Oh,
chat too.
okay.
Similar to the example, transportation was difficult based on owning a car versus public transport.
That's a good one. That is definitely a good one. And that's one of those things that I think your needs and wants can come into play as well. For me personally, taking public transportation, depending on where I lived, didn't bother me. So when I was in graduate school out there, in Ohio, I there was a time where I had to use the city bus, but because I was in a small area, it did not bother me. Now, if I lived in a larger city, probably would have tried to find some type of way to either carpool with someone I trusted or try to save the money to buy a car because I wouldn't have felt as comfortable. So that is definitely something I want you all to continue doing is thinking about, is this something that I want to do? Do I feel safe doing it? Do I feel comfortable doing this as well? And always remember your needs and wants whenever you are budgeting anything. So great job, y'all. Y'all are awesome. All right, so our takeaways for today. First, think about what you want to do and how you can find ways to do it. So, with that example of picking your hobbies, finding careers, then looking at majors for that, I'll challenge you. I want to challenge you all to continue doing that. as time progresses, because the closer you get to graduating, the more you understand an idea of where you want to go, the easier it will be to find stuff to put those things in place to where it won't cost you as much to get certifications or degrees, and you'll be able to get into your field quicker. Also, the more you're able to know where you want to go, the more you're able to find things that you want to do, because there are things right now that you can do to start working towards what you want to do in the future. Use high school programs to start early. So if there are any programs, Tech Prep, that can help you, especially get college credits and start preparing for college and help you get into college, use those programs. These are resources that can not only help you be successful, but they will help you save a lot of money that does not have to be spent to accomplish things that other people spend a lot of money trying to do. So use these resources. Budget your time like you do your money. So what I mean by that, it's important to know where your money is going, but it's also important to know how you want to spend your time. I don't want you to spend all your time working. So knowing what caters to your holistic well-being will allow you to budget your time to incorporate self-care. It'll allow you to budget your time to incorporate things you want to do, and budget your time to do things to help you learn and grow. So your time is just as important as money. So I want you to think about ways to budget your time like you would your money. And then finally, create a budget that makes sense for you and who you are. So I am going to go ahead and wrap up and open the floor for any questions. Do any of you have any questions for me?
I'm not seeing any in the chat.
Alrighty, well, this is my email. If any of you do have any questions that you just pop up and think of, please definitely contact me. Again, I want to be a resource for you all. Just by attending this, you clearly care about finding ways to take control of your life and to live your best life. So I'm very proud that you all took the time to be here, and I'm truly honored to be here with you all. So thank you so much for spending time with me. And I love to always say this, remember, consistency is key and change takes time. Stay smart, stay healthy, and stay financially well. So thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us, Janessa. This was a wonderful presentation, and I will be sending out the YouTube link to this presentation probably sometime tomorrow once I get it uploaded. Thank you all very much. Like Janessa said, if you have any questions, feel free to email her. If you have any questions about Kent State's Tech Prep or Kent State's CCP, feel free to email any of us at the Pre-College Programs Office. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.